Don't try yet. Don't put anything in there yet.
Guys all set?
One of your police finally stopped me one day. He thought I was drunk, but I was just trying to miss pothole.
All set? All right.
It's to hone in your driving skills.
No, saving my car.
I'd like to call the Lisbon Town Council special meeting for Tuesday, May 27th, 2014, 6 p.m. to order. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item, please.
Roll call. Councilor Garrison?
Present.
Councilor Lunt?
Here.
Councilor McTevier?
Yeah.
Councilor Bickford?
Yeah.
Councilor Ward is excused. Councilor Pesky?
Here.
And Councilor Brunel?
Here.
Next item, please.
Is under council orders, ordinances, and resolutions. Order 2014-86, the Unitel natural gas line to MTM and Brunswick Housing Authority. Councilor Bickford, seconded by Councilor Lunt, moved to table the paving proposal until the next meeting. Motion to table passed 6-0, and tonight on the floor for council action is that tabled motion made by Councilor Bickford, seconded by Councilor Lunt, to accept Unitel's paving proposal as presented.
All right. I'll open up the floor for discussion regarding the Unitil natural gas discussion. Ryan, do you have anything to add before maybe we get started?
Yes, I'm here to answer any questions you may have. I'm not sure, I know Dale discussed this at the last meeting. Is there anything in particular questions?
Just want to know how far the distance was.
In speaking with Unitil, based on their numbers, it's approximately 663 feet from Route 196 to the MTM service location, and so it's another 587 feet roughly to the service location for the Brunswick Housing Building.
So it's about equal.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit longer. The first stretch is a little bit longer than the second.
But it's not like we're giving them a great deal or something on that if we split it 50-50.
I don't think so.
Yeah. I saw there was a mention of a map. Did we get that?
Yep. I mean, it's just a simple drawing that they sent that shows go down School Street, up Berry Avenue, and down Campus Avenue. Pretty straightforward.
Do you have the dimensions again?
What was that, Dot?
The dimensions.
Any other questions regarding this proposal?
The Unitil project, this is all theirs, right? We're just providing...
What it was is the original, I mean, we've been trying to get natural gas to, well, Brunswick Housing was really the driving force back when they started renovating the old superintendent's office to turn it into apartments. And at the time, it was prohibitively expensive. Since then, there's either been more customers that have been involved, but I know there was some turnover in Unitil as well. And now the gap that they had to make up for costs has shrunk considerably. And their proposal to us was if we could pave the trench in, that would really save them. It was more cost effective for us to pave the trench than to have them do a subcontractor. I don't know, based on our material pricing or what. I'm not sure why, but the prices they were carrying in their construction project were quite a bit higher than what we estimate we can do it for. So it was basically making up the difference. I'm not 100% sure, again, how, the specific PUC regulations as far as they're concerned, but in order for them to do an expansion, it has to be almost a zero-cost balance for them to do it, and they have to be able to see, that they're going to have enough usage to justify doing that extension. And it wasn't quite a straight-up, justified extension. There was, at one time, they were talking about a $20,000 shortfall, if you will, that they needed to find a way to close that gap in order to be able to make the project go from their end. So this is our manner of helping close that gap rather than shelling out just upfront dollars, if you will.
So would the paving materials, would that come out of our normal paving budget, or where would that come from?
It would come out of the paving budget, or we could take it out of the town buildings budget, as it is a buildings project. Quite honestly, based on the estimated labor and materials, the it's almost 50-50 split anyway. So what Brunswick Housing is going to pay us is going to offset the cost of the paving materials, and the main cost that we'll have to absorb is the Public Works labor, which we budget for in their wage line anyway. So I mean, it's almost, I mean, other than the $1,800 upfront cash amount, it's almost a zero cost to the town.
And the 1,800 cash amount is for?
That's it's still, there was still a short, even though they took the paving out of their project cost, there still was there was a 30, well, whatever it said originally, it was $1,852 split. You know, each of us had to pay that amount, so 36.
That's just for for bringing the gas
To
to
make
the
the project
building.
go, yeah, and on top of doing the paving part. Yeah.
Because they're putting in the lines, right, and we're just
They're running,
burying it and paving it.
all we're going to do is come back and prep and pave the trench, and that's, you know, based on our discussions, it's a 2-foot, supposed to be a 2-foot wide trench, 1,250 feet long. Prep and pave that, and we're done. And we talked about the service lines, I talked to them about that, just to make sure I was clear, and they already carried the cost to do the rehabilitation from the main installation to the service, you know, to the building, and at both Campus Ave and at MTM.
When were they expecting this to be done by?
I don't have a deadline based, I mean, we needed to get it, you know, we wanted to run this project and this idea through you guys to see if it was a good idea or not. Brunswick Housing already approved their end of it, just need to approve this, and then we'll schedule it with them. It'll be sometime in the summer.
Are there any other houses on that route that will be joining that service?
I believe there's a couple, but I'm not 100% sure of the numbers.
Well, what's good about it, it gives a lot of people the opportunity to
Absolutely.
down the road.
Yep.
That's what, basically, that's what it's for anyways.
At least anybody on School Street or Berry Avenue.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're along the pipeline, you can tap into it, otherwise.
Make it a
Like
lot
one-
easier for you.
Is there a proposed or an estimated savings from switching over MTM from regular heating oil to natural gas?
Based on I've gotten it from two different sources, we're looking at about a 35 to 40% reduction in cost based on using oil.
Now, the switchover, would that be through the performance contract, or how would that work?
As part of the performance contract, that transition would be part of that
Okay.
project.
Now, I saw a chain of emails come back and forth from Brunswick Housing Authority and Tracy. Was there any sort of signed contract from Brunswick Housing Authority just to make sure that they are committing to paying half of it?
I don't have a signed contract from them. I have an email from them saying that they concluded their board meeting and they have approved participation in the hookup.
Yeah, I saw that one.
I mean, once we each have to sign a contract with Unitil, once, you know, we decide that this is the route we're going to go. and
Before
then- Before we
everybody
do
will
anything.
sign before it even starts.
Yep.
I guess my biggest concern with the whole thing is paying our staff to do the trenching in the paving, because there isn't enough of a project for Unitil to do it themselves. So that's my biggest concern with it. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but I have a major concern with that whole piece of it. I don't know if they need to do more campaigning to get more people on the street, part of the project. I'm not sure, but I don't think we should be paying to pave it. I don't think, and digging it. I mean, maybe if we dig it and then Brunswick Housing paid for it to be paved, I don't know. But I don't think how it's laid out now is best.
We're
Solution.
paying,
Can I
we're paying $1,850 to get gas to MTM Center, and that's all I really care about.
That's
Because
fine.
that's where the savings is gonna be. It's gonna, the first year will pay for itself.
We're not actually digging the trench, just so
Yeah, we're just
we're
prepping
clear.
and
We're just
Yeah.
going to go through after they're done, clean out what we need to get out to get the pavement, get the gravel level down to the certain, to the right point.
So
and then we'll pave it
Unitil's
back in.
digging?
Yeah,
They're doing all the
their own
installation.
equipment.
All right.
We're not certified
I
to do
thought
that
we
kind of
was doing-
installation.
No.
Finishing it off.
Just
No,
finish it.
we're going to, I mean, our backhoe will be out there, because we're going to, I mean, unless they don't end up doing it, unless they try to do it by hand, but I mean, it's 1,200 feet, it's only 2 feet wide, but it's still, I mean, I'm sure we'll be using the backhoe just to get it down to the grade so it's ready for hot top, but we're not actually digging and installing anything.
That's even better.
Any more discussion?
What
Right.
do we spend on heating oil at MTM per year usually? So I have an idea of.
25 to 30,000.
So yeah, I mean, we're talking a couple thousand versus 30,000. It would,
Telling you,
it would
it's,
save.
you know,
it would
it's
pay
a
for itself
no-brainer.
right away in a year.
The estimated based on, because the only numbers we provided were, at the time, was the year, there's one year we used 6,900 gallons, 6,979 roughly, and that was, and the price from Unitil said that usage would be about $15,000 for that year, and so I was doing a little math. I mean, you're talking gallon equivalent.
5% is quite a savings.
Gallon equivalent, it's about $2.16 a gallon for oil, and we paid $3.36 or $3.37 this year, so. I'm trying to be conservative on our estimated savings as well, but we're talking significant savings over the course of the lifetime.
Anything else from council? No? Anything from the public regarding the Unitil proposal? I know there's no audience participation on here, but
We're going to give it anyway.
exactly. Larry?
According to the working rules, we're allowed to.
Yep.
You guys are outstanding.
Using the field by ourselves.
It's your lucky day,
Gilmore
Larry.
from Lisbon.
Lucky day.
I hear you. The first thing is that I'm not against this project being done. I think it'll be a cost savings to the town, and I think it needs to go forward. However, there are several things that bother me very, very much. The first one is we were told at the last meeting that the Public Works people will be doing the trenching. Okay? And if we're doing the trenching at whatever level of trenching you want to say, we're taking our Public Works people, we're tying them up on this project, okay? So the townspeople are paying for the Public Works people to be standing by to do whatever is required, okay? The taxpayers are paying that. What's the Brunswick Housing Areas, Housing Authorities portion of that they're going to pay? Nothing, nada, zip. So the townspeople are going to be paying for Public Works people to be tied up, which they could be on the road, filling in them potholes we're fishing in,
Bring your gut out now.
or doing something else for the town at that time. So we're paying them to do that, the taxpayers are. And then you're asking the taxpayers to turn around when Brunswick Housing Area paid nothing for the trenching, to turn around and pay half of the paving. I just don't see that to be right. Okay, I think that they're extending us, the taxpayers, a lot more than the Brunswick Housing Area. And remember, we gave them that building for $1. And we gave them a federal grant of over $1 million to renovate the building. Well, come on, how much do they need from us, okay? The taxpayers can't afford to pay this, okay? It's the right project. I would much rather see us pay the whole cost right to the MTM Center if we're going to do it. I don't want to give away taxpayers' dollars for the Brunswick Housing Authority for nada. We get nothing out of it. Our people get nothing out of it. So I don't see that as a plus for us. The second part of this is the paving is going to cost $13,000. Half of that is $6,500, the way I do math. Okay? Anything over $4,999.99 has to go out for formal bid if you're using taxpayers' dollars. That's in our purchasing policy. Now, you can say, this is not a town project. Okay, say it. But then you have a proposal from a town engineer. You're going to be using Public Works people to do trenching, and you want the taxpayers to pay money. How is that not a town project? It's got to be our project if we're doing all of this, and it's our money. So I agree, the savings is outstanding. We need to do this. But I don't think we need to do this with this proposal, because I don't believe this proposal is fair to the taxpayers of Lisbon. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry.
Can't respond to that. I got a response. Larry, you were just told, not 30 seconds before you got up, that the town was not going to do the trenching.
Right.
You heard it from our town manager that he said that we were. There's the engineer. The town manager's not the engineer. He knows what he's talking about. All we're going to do is prep it for hot top. That's it. And that's just to make sure that there's that much down so the hot top can go in and fill good. We're not trenching it. We're not digging it.
Roger, I heard all of that.
Okay.
I heard Mr. Layton say that.
All right.
I got all that. But we're still tying up Public Works people for the project. No matter what degree that you're doing, they're standing by with a backhoe.
So you'd rather spend $250,000 and let them do it all themselves and put the hot top in and have the taxpayers pay the
It's not going to do a
$250,000?
debate here, okay?
Yeah, we're all
We're
set
not going
with
to
that.
debate this.
Is there anyone else that would like to discuss natural gas? Come on up, Dot.
Thank you. I'm not opposed to this project either. I understand that it'll be a substantial saving to the MTM Center in heating cost. I was at the Unitil meeting in, what was it, probably February. I didn't take notes, and my memory can be a little sketchy sometimes, so I did talk to somebody this morning and the other day that has an excellent memory. You were there at the meeting. Dylan. You were there, Roger. I think you were there, Mark. You and your dad?
I don't think I was there.
You weren't, okay. I don't know if you, okay. You weren't. Unitil did say that they were going to do the trenching and they were going to do the paving at no cost to the town of Lisbon. And I'm wondering what has changed. And I just heard that Unitil evidently will be doing the trenching, and we're standby to make sure that it's done correctly so that the paving will be done correctly. What has changed in the cost estimate to the town? Before it was $6,000 and $7,000, so what has changed?
I'm not sure.
Another question is, I still am not clear at what the $1,852 for both the town and the Brunswick Housing Authority is for, because Unitil did say at that meeting that connection to the buildings was going to be at no cost. So I don't know if that's just the trenching to the building, or we have to pay to connect from the exterior of the building to inside. I don't know. I don't know if anyone can clarify.
Yeah, thank you, Dot.
Thank you.
From my understanding, the $1,852 for the town to pay and Brunswick Housing Authority is because there is still a gap, from what I understand from Mr. Layton, from a gap still with the town going in with the Brunswick Housing Authority to work on the project. There is still a gap for a service, so that would make up that gap to make it a solid deal. Is there anyone else?
What's the gap? I mean, gap.
The project, they don't have enough usage, from my understanding, Dot, is they have to have a certain amount of usage for the project to be beneficial or profitable for them. And from what I can gather, there's not enough usage going to happen along that line.
Participate.
Correct. All right, so the motion we have on the floor right now is from Councilor Bickford, second by Councilor Lunt, from our last meeting to go ahead and accept the proposal to go ahead with the Unitil project.
Can I have a question for Mr. Layton before we
Sure.
proceed? The issue of town employees' time was raised. How much time would you estimate would be used on this project in terms of man hours, or how many weeks or days they're going to be out there?
I was thinking that I'd have to look back to see where, because I did this a little while ago, but I think it was around 2 weeks.
Okay.
And that's, again, conservative time frame. They're going to go, Unitil's going to go in, do their thing, and they're going to be gone, and we're going to come back and prep and pave the trench just like we do when we do any of our own sewer work or any of that stuff. I mean, it's no different than any other paving project we've ever done.
So why do we have to have somebody there while they're doing their work? Why?
We don't.
So we don't have to have it. They can do their thing, we'll come in when they're done.
That was what we originally talked about.
Okay.
Brian, do you know what the cost would be if we didn't do this? What would be the cost?
Shared costs at the time when we were talking, again, I'm going to talk round numbers without having specific numbers with me, but I believe it was going to be about $10,000 apiece between Brunswick Housing and us to make the project go if we were just to pay cash, if you will.
That's what I was looking for.
And I think that, and I'm still think that they're conservative with our estimates on, I mean, we're going to charge, whatever the total labor and the total materials. The plan was to split that with Brunswick Housing. I mean, if it ends up being $8,000 total project, then it's 4 apiece. I mean,
We're not subsidizing them, we're splitting it half and half.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Do we have a time frame on when this has to be to Omni-Domni and back to Unitil?
2 weeks ago.
Okay.
No, I mean, as soon as we can so they can get going, I guess, is be able to get it on their schedule.
Okay. You had another question, I believe.
Could you state your name for the record, please?
My name is Richard Chaddick, and I am listening and so on. My only feeling is that the man who just spoke here, I think, could be clarifying, like Brunswick should have something more in writing, not a boo-boo-doo, and clarifying when you ask a question where you feel you got a complete answer when he's done. And I don't think from his information that I was as enthusiastic now as I was before about the project. Amen.
Thank you. All right, we have a motion. And any other discussion? All right, all those in favor of the Unitil proposal with Brunswick Housing Authority? Opposed?
Motion passed.
Next item, please.
Under appointments, Order 2014-87 to appoint a new town manager.
All right, open the floor for a motion.
I'll make the motion.
All right,
Second?
second. Any discussion? All right, motion from Councilor Bickford, second from Councilor Mativier to, actually probably put a name in the appointment.
That would probably help.
To appoint, do you want me to say it, or?
You do it.
All right, motion from Councilor Bickford, second from Councilor Mativier to appoint Diane Barnes as the Lisbon Town Manager. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Order passed, 6-0.
Next item, please.
Order 2014-88 to appoint a tax collector.
I would open the floor for a motion to appoint a tax collector.
I thought that was supposed to be.
It has to be a second motion.
Can
I'll
we,
make that motion.
I'm going to say, can we appoint her before she even takes the job?
I'll make that motion.
And if so, I'll second.
And this is effective
July 1.
July 1
That is correct, right? July 1?
or June 30th?
June 30th.
June
Oh,
30th.
okay, good thing you're here. All right. We have a motion, we have a second, any discussion? All those in favor?
Order passed, 6-0.
All right. Next item, please.
To adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
All right.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Order passed, 6-0.
Thank you.
Well, yeah.
All right.
Turn off the recorders.
That was the shortest meeting ever.
It is.
Is that what we call a quickie?
Oh, Dodd, is that what you call it?
I need signatures before you leave.
Yeah, you might want to turn some of them off.
Thank you. Pleasure working with you, Chris.
We appreciate all your work.